Just a precursor to this video. This is mostly from the perspective of an American anime fan. Obviously, I can only speak from my own experience, and the marketing situation for One Piece was different for the Japanese audience. For people who started watching anime in the 2000s, there are three anime called the Big Three that come to mind in terms of popularity. Most older fans in the anime community probably remember how annoyingly widespread Naruto was, with the cosplay, the catchphrases, and the merchandise really kicking off the new mainstream demand for anime. After it began airing in America in 2005 on Cartoon Network, Naruto sparked a whole generation of new anime fans who enthusiastically created and consumed fandom. Whole YouTube channels flourished, with cosplayers creating their own comedy and drama skits for the series, similar to the Harry Potter musical for Harry Potter fans. For people a little more in the know, Bleach was the second best with its super cool main characters and classy music. And, the odd child out, One Piece somehow gets included in this big three, even though it had the worst start with its 4Kids adaptation, and the general goofiness of its characters that was a hard sell for anime fans at the time. 15 years later, Naruto and Bleach are finished, but One Piece manages not only to stay on top in terms of sales, but became a merchandising behemoth similar to Pokemon in Japan. One Piece even managed to recover from its terrible licensing issues with 4Kids. After receiving a competent dub from Funimation and official subbing from Toei, One Piece managed to experience a steady increase in popularity, leading to its juggernaut status around the world. But due to its length, it tends to be the target of anger, hatred, ire from newer fans who are more familiar with modern classics like Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. I've seen Shonen Jump fans get genuinely angry that One Piece continues to stay published in Weekly Shonen Jump, while other lesser-known series get cancelled with barely a chance to grow a fanbase or tell a complete coherent story. So, what gives? Are millions of One Piece fans simply deluded into thinking that One Piece is a great show, or is there a reason that enjoys such steadfast popularity even during its worst moments? I'm here to share my thoughts as a longtime One Piece fan and a general anime connoisseur. Why do so many people love One Piece? To start off, I need to explain how I started being an anime fan to begin with. Around 2005, I was an elementary schooler who enjoyed cartoons as much as any kid, but Saturday morning cartoons were somehow better in terms of quality. During this Saturday morning cartoon block, it included Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and One Piece on different channels at different times. I also remember watching the other cartoons at the time too, but obviously I remember the anime better for really, obvious reasons. Anyways, back then I didn't really think too much about what these cartoons were and where they came from, but I just knew instinctively that they were really good. I even jammed along to the god-awful 4Kids One Piece opening. Although I was never able to effectively watch every episode as it aired, I managed to follow along to the plots that were ongoing in each show. But my access to these amazing cartoons changed as many of them were taken off of the Saturday morning block, and different channels got the rights to air these shows. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX were both acquired by Cartoon Network, who then proceeded to license other anime and package them up as part of Toonami. Pokemon usually aired in the mornings instead, during a separate block. They also licensed Naruto around this time, as well as Studio Ghibli films for a limited special run. After watching Spirited Away on TV, and then being exposed to Naruto right from episode 1, I felt like I was watching something special. Something so undoubtedly cool that I would make every effort to watch it, either on TV or on their free streaming service, Toonami Jetstream. Around this time, I pretty much forgot about my love for One Piece and became a diehard Naruto fan. Over time, after Cartoon Network stopped airing Naruto, I had to find my fix in other ways, sometimes on YouTube in 3 parts. Remember those times? Naruto was the first show that I realized was different from all the other cartoons because of where it was from and how it was made. I started watching Naruto in Japanese with subtitles after I couldn't find the English dub anywhere because it was only dubbed up until a certain point on Cartoon Network officially. I realized how different the original Japanese version had been and started to look for other interesting shows like it. American cartoons seemed really childish in comparison. Too childish. They didn't have cool fights, interesting characters with character arcs, worlds where the actions and decisions of the characters actually made a difference, everything always got reset back to status quo. Also, I was a young fangirl, and these anime boys were too cute. So, for all the reasons stated above, I started consuming any and all anime that I could get my hands on, that anyone on the internet mentioned as being good. Fooly Cooly, Evangelion, Cardcaptor Sakura, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, Bleach, Black Hat, Suzuka, Trigun, Death Note, even Hetalia, and of course, Naruto. I couldn't get enough. I tried watching all kinds of shows, and all of it felt fresh and new and amazing. My record keeping was pretty bad before 2010, but I soon realized that I had watched so many shows that I wanted to remember, and created a My Anime List account around then. After watching both Bleach and Naruto, I didn't finish them, but I had watched a good chunk of them by then, obviously. I started looking for similarly popular series. Around 2011, I remembered my previous favorites when I used to watch anime as a young kid. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Seemed a little too formulaic, and I just wasn't in the mood back then. So I looked up One Piece, and I balked at its length. At least, I would have if I actually cared back then. By that point, I'd already seen all of the original Naruto, around 200 episodes, and at least 150 episodes of Bleach. When I looked up the length, it was around 500 episodes. One Piece was only a little bit longer than Bleach and Naruto combined, and I had already seen and enjoyed those shows. I had a lot of nostalgia for all the little jokes that the anime had when I watched it as a kid, even though it was the 4Kids version. I didn't really remember all the exact arcs and the order they went in, and the 4Kids version stopped in Alabasta, so I wanted to catch up by starting from the beginning with a new focus and attention to story details. Unaware of the great journey ahead of me, on May 31st, 2011, I started One Piece from episode 1. That summer, I watched 100 episodes of One Piece. I wasn't all the way caught up, but it didn't matter. I enjoyed all the jokes and the characters. I loved seeing all the different locations. The fight scenes were engaging enough to keep going. I would watch One Piece whenever I felt like it. It was always there waiting for me. In the end, it took until June 26, 2012 to catch up to where the anime was at episode 553. For those who don't know, this point in the anime was during the Fishman Island arc, after the time skip and after the shocking Marineford War arc. For most people who were casual One Piece fans before this, the Marineford War was the culmination of many plot points and characters that had intertwined into one of the biggest reveals that the series had ever had. It's what convinced many longtime fans to come back and really pay attention. I caught up to the show right as it hit one of its peak moments. After such a long-winded explanation of my anime history, why is any of this relevant? Why does it matter that it took me a year to catch up? Naruto and Bleach were a little shorter, but just as long, with just as many interesting and cool characters. The reason is because every One Piece fan has a story like this. They all started watching for trivial reasons. Maybe they saw a clip of a cool fight scene on YouTube, or a manga panel with art that they liked. Maybe their friend wouldn't shut up about it, me, and so they decided to give it a fair shot. Yep, I've been that friend before. I'm looking at all my friends who started watching One Piece because of me. You're welcome. No matter the reason, everybody started by giving it a fair chance. And somewhere along the way, whether it was 10, 20, 100 episodes in, they found that their interest in the series paid off in some way. One Piece is one of the few mainstream series that excels in character writing, world building, and plot management. These are the foundational aspects of any good story, but a common complaint of any shonen fan is that the series they're into often drops the ball in some way. However, One Piece manages to use these foundational aspects of good storytelling in internally consistent ways that make watching or reading the series enjoyable for new and old fans alike. For example, its character writing. One Piece often introduces new characters that serve the story in very specific ways. Characters get introduced on a specific island and fulfill their purpose in that story arc. In a less well-written series, these characters might be discarded, never to be heard of again. Or more popular characters might join the rotating cast occasionally, just to bring some variety into this show. But the author, Eiichiro Oda, does the reader one step better. Miss having a character around that was really cool from 3 arcs ago? Well, they're not just actors who only play a role as long as they're on stage. Even the most simple characters with straightforward character motivations are actively moving, learning, and changing in the background. Just like old friends, the reader gets to greatly enjoy meeting these characters again when they come back into the fold of the main plot. And this point ties directly into the next part, the world building. Just like the characters, the world of One Piece is reacting and changing to the events that happen in each arc. The actions of the Straw Hat crew ripple throughout the world and affect the future. Decisions that they make during certain crucial moments of the story actively change situations for the people around them, as well as the decisions of other characters. For example, Luffy might decide to loot a piece of treasure just because he feels like it, and another character further on in the series decides to make a deal with him simply because that treasure is important to his own goals, which were already stated early on in the series. This simplicity and continuity of character motivations, actions, and changing states of the politics of the world lead to an incredibly alive and vibrant tapestry with many plot threads. And the third, most important element of One Piece is in its management of the plot threads. Its plot management is amazing. It would be incredibly easy for such minor details to be lost in the shuffle. After all, One Piece is a very long story. It has already surpassed 1,000 chapters, and will easily surpass 1,000 episodes soon. However, the plot always stays consistent, no matter what. Luffy is the main force driving the plot forward. The audience is following him on this journey, and his choices have always been true to his character. He wants to be Pirate King, and will always fight for himself and the people he cares about. Similarly, each character has a motivation that's either known or unknown to the reader, that's influencing all their actions in the story. The simplicity of the characters weaving together, combined with the intelligent reintroduction and recontextualization of already known information, leads to interesting reveals about the greater mysteries of the world. And these details don't get lost because they're always tied back to the characters. On top of a great foundation, One Piece has some elements that add to its appeal that are more icing on the cake. These include the comedy. The show isn't afraid to make fun of the most ridiculous aspects about the characters. Even the most serious or cool character in One Piece is gonna have one stupid facet of their personality that makes them hilarious and lovable. Another factor is the art. For obvious reasons, most fans come to love the goofy but intricate art that depicts the world of One Piece. The designs of the islands can be downright unbelievable, but seeing how they work is part of the fun. And finally, the waifus and husbandos. The fangirls and fanboys are a natural part of any fandom, and One Piece has plenty of eye candy to appeal to both. There's some valid things to be said about how ridiculous the lack of variation is in the women, but, you know, I'm not going to tackle that in this video. And I will simp for both Nico, Robin, and Shanks until the end of time. And the final icing on the cake is the fights. Arguably, this isn't even a negotiable part in the shonen series. The fights have to be cool, and they are, but the characters sometimes use the most silly powers to accomplish this feat. But most everyone in this show gets a chance to be badass at some point. In conclusion, it was a long story to get to this point, but here's what all this means. One Piece allows its fans the time to fall in love with its characters, and the payoff of seeing them grow and change into cooler, better, more realized versions of themselves. Both the characters and the world slot together like a perfect puzzle, and the pieces are constantly changing to form a new picture. The fun and excitement of seeing what happens next and cheering for your faves never gets old, and the plot twists and turns don't disappoint either. That's why I love One Piece, and that's why so many others get hooked on this amazing series. Well, I hope you liked this video, and I hope you'll stick around for more. See you later!